every day in which a AAA franchise like The Legend of Zelda joins forces with an indie-based rhythm game, but that is exactly what happened in order to bring us one of my favorite games ever, Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necromancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda, which from now on I'm just gonna refer to as Cadence of Hyrule if that's alright. I'm Janessa Christine, and this is All In. Now, Cadence of Hyrule dropped as a digital release at E3 last year, and I was instantly drawn to it. Now, I had played Crypt of the Necromancer before, but I felt like that was some sort of obscure indie that no one had ever talked about. Plus, that game was ridiculously hard. So there I was, making my way home from my very first industry E3 experience, huddled in a train car, jamming away to this game on my Switch. I mean, I couldn't wait to play the game until I got home. Now, I couldn't have asked for a better end to that year's E3 journey, as Cadence of Hyrule pulled me in immediately, but in order to understand the full glory of this game, we're going to have to start a couple of years before, at the beginning. Cue Ryan Clark, founder of Brace Yourself Games, on a mission to create a great roguelike with skill at its core, instead of randomness or knowledge obtained by dying over and over again. Now, roguelikes are tough, often unforgiving, and can be a hard genre to get into when you're dying all the time. Plus, feeling like your character's death was due to a procedurally generated condition can make the game feel unfair and unfun. Inspired by games like Spelunky and FTL, he set out to develop a roguelike where, when you died, it was your own fault, instead of rolling a 1 in the luck department. But Ryan also missed the turn-based format of older games like Rogue and NetHack. He experimented with short turns of a fixed duration that didn't allow the player too much time to strategize. As Ryan tested this concept, he found the gameplay felt like he was moving to a beat. He threw on Michael Jackson's Thriller and realized that the roguelike dungeon crawler he wanted to create made for a perfect rhythm game. Crypt of the Necromancer was born. Crypt of the Necromancer was released on PC in 2015, and the reception was fantastic. It was an incredible game with a rockin' soundtrack composed by Danny Boronsky, known for his musical work on Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. Each level of the dungeon featured different musical dance genres, from hot metal to deep blues and EDM. The game was so well loved that ports to the PS4, Vita, Xbox One, Switch, and iOS came shortly afterward. Crypt of the Necromancer was a hit in its own right, but when Brace Yourself Games approached Nintendo for permission to use some of their iconic characters in a DLC, Nintendo had a different idea. Rumor has it that Nintendo's Miyamoto and Zelda producers Eiji Aonuma were already big fans of the rhythm game, and they wanted to hire Brace Yourself Games to create an unprecedented crossover between a AAA franchise and an indie developer. Now that we understand how the game came to be, let's talk about the good stuff, how it plays. You'll start the adventure off as Cadence, the main character from Crypt of the Necromancer, who has been teleported into Hyrule through the power of the Triforce. She finds that the King, Link, and Zelda have been put to sleep by a mysterious villain named Octavo. You'll have to beat his 4 champions, the Bass Guitarmos Knights, Gliokenspiel, Go Maracas, and Wizrobo, to collect their enchanted instruments. Only then will you unlock the mystical power to defeat Octavo, restore Hyrule, and send Cadence home. Now, the controls seem simple. Move up, down, left, or right to the beat of the music to navigate and attack enemies. But believe me, it's a lot easier to say than do. Creatures will also move to the beat to attack you with their own unique movement pattern, attack range, and health. This creates interesting rhythmic battles that feel like a dance to the death. I found myself dodging attacks but then circling back around the enemy to land a hit. You'll have to anticipate and strategize how best to approach each foe. Miss a beat and you'll be stunned for a moment, which might not turn out well for you. I do enjoy how Cadence of Hyrule is more forgiving than its predecessor. The differences between roguelike and roguelite are confusing, and a lot of people just assume them to be the same thing, but Cadence is definitely a roguelite, since when you die, you don't start the game from the beginning again. You'll lose your rupees and items, but you'll be able to spend diamonds for a helpful upgrade and respawn at any of the Sheikah Stones, which is a nice feature because you're going to die. A lot. but eventually you'll get the hang of this charming game and beat it. On your first playthrough, the game should take you about 5 hours to complete, but this game is designed to be played again and again. Zelda and Link have different attack abilities, so you'll want to do a playthrough with each of them. Or grab your significant other and make them play, cause how often do you get to play Link with Zelda together? And you're also not asking them to commit to a game that's like 40 hours long. The map is different every time you play, which also means that the order in which you find items like the hookshot and boots will be different. I loved this game so much that I decided I was going to become an official Cadence of Hyrule speedrunner. I joined the Discord, I read some walkthroughs, and then I set out to set my first record. Yeah, that lasted about 20 minutes because I realized speedrunning is really hard. So shout out to Twitch streamer Rat Racing, who currently holds the record for a full story mode playthrough, clocking in at just 15 minutes and 45 seconds. This game is a speedrunner's dream. There's leaderboard support for it right in the game and a ton of challenge modes that you can play, like permadeath, dungeon mode, and daily challenges. I'm also a fan of accessibility, so I want to point out that there is a fixed beat mode for anyone hard of hearing or rhythm impaired. Last but totally not least, one of the best aspects of this game is the music. Let's pause for a second to listen to some of the remixed versions of nostalgic Zelda tunes. I mean, come on. It's impossible not to dance to. I know you're bopping your head. By the way, hear that guitar? That's video game metal legend and YouTuber Jules Conroy, or better known as Family Jules.
Yes, I got to work on the soundtrack for this game.
And if you recognize the voice of Cadence,
finally, I'm almost out of this crypt.
That's because she's voiced by Twitch streamer Elspeth Eastman. And YouTube cover singer Adrosaurus is the voice behind the fairy fountain. So I think it's pretty obvious I like this game. I think I'm gonna go play it right now, maybe give speedrunning a second try. And you know what? If I had to give Cadence of Hyrule a score, I'd give it 5 out of 5 donuts. If you want to give it a try, it's available digitally, but also on October 23rd, a physical edition of Cadence of Hyrule releases that's going to include all 3 DLC packs, the Character Pack, Melody Pack, and Symphony of the Mask, which I'm gonna pick up too because I like collecting things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is Janessa Christine, and you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Bye!